Yeah, what's up, Rich? How you doing, man?
Yes, man. Salute. Everything is good. Everything is good. I'm here sipping some nice tea out of my Slick Rick gifted cup. Shout out to my man Slick Rick. You know what I mean? Rick the Ruler.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen those before.
Yeah, I think there's something special he sent out. I think just his supporters and friends. It was a nice little gift. Came in the mail. I was real happy. Him and Mandy's longtime friends, so they always look out for me.
That's what's up, man.
In the music game,
Yes.
I I started in the seventh grade writing songs for Critique Atlantic Records. I'm from the Caribbean, came here as a kid. Shout to all my Caribbean massive, you know what I'm saying? Shout to my Caribbean crew. Matter
What
of
part?
fact, I got my flag right here, you know what
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying? Representing my Caribbean crew, you
Okay.
know what I mean? So all four grandparents from the Caribbean, grew up between New York and the Caribbean. When I was a little bit older, we moved to the Bronx, where I did most of my growing up in the Bronx, on the west side of the Bronx. Shout to the west side of the Bronx, Cedar Avenue, Cool Herc and the crew. That's my first interaction with hip hop. Is Cool Herc in Cedar Park. Shout to Cool Herc, the father of hip hop. The Bronx is the home of hip hop. I'm happy to be able to witness hip hop for the first time from the creator of it, Cool Herc. It's I tell people all the time, you can do a lot of things, but you'll never out hip hop me because I come from the foundation.
Before we get into your music, careers and stuff and everything else that you do, your dad was in the music as well, right? Well, like in the
Well, my dad
band.
was a promoter. My dad was a promoter. He would promote shows, and so what he would do is he would bring bands from the states and bring them down to the Caribbean. But on the musical side, my uncle, my mother's brother, my uncle was a drummer for a famous Caribbean calypso band called um, Jam Band, and Jam Band they've won 26 road marches consecutively. That's unheard of in the Caribbean history. 26 consecutive road marches with the lead singer Daddy Friday. And prior to that, he was in a group called Eddie and the Movement, which is another big Caribbean, local group, but they did their thing called Eddie and the Movements. And my other uncle Ray used to play bass with them in the early days. Then I have
And
my cousin George who played with Joe Higgs, and Joe Higgs is the guy who used to from the foundation of Bob Marley and the Wailers, or the Wailers before there was Bob, when it was the Wailers. My cousin George used to play keyboards with Joe Higgs. So I got a long list of family members in music from foundation.
what was your involvement in Trackmasters?
I'm a co-founder of Trackmasters. Me, my Polk and Tone. We started Trackmasters and Steve Stout in 1995. We started Trackmasters inside of Chung King Studio, the old Chung King, and it was a time where I was managing Tone when he was a rapper, Red Hot Lover Tone at the time, and we were all producing, but separately. So Polk would be producing in one studio on his own. Tone would be producing in one studio on his own, and I'd be producing in another studio on my own. But we all would come to each other's sessions and help each other produce. And it just didn't make sense. It's like, why are you guys working all together but not together? And then Steve was like, this doesn't make sense at all. And Steve has always been a very forward-thinking business person. And he was like, we got to put this all together. And I was like, we need to put this together. And Steve agreed, and Polk and Tone agreed, and that was the birth of Trackmasters.
You know, I know, but tell the people some of the artists that Trackmasters work with.
Okay, I mean, so many artists from Nas, Biggie, Tupac, Michael Jackson, Cool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, Mary J. Blige, Noriega, Nature, 50 Cent, Mariah Carey, J Lo, Will Smith. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Tony Braxton, Allure, Total. Uh, 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 I mean, it's so many artists. I'm trying to think of more R&B artists, but it's just so many R&B artists that we've been blessed to put our fingerprints on a lot of artists.
And as far as like your music career, um, I was checking out. Well, I've been seeing that video, years ago. I saw it, and it was more like kind of like hip house um, type of feel. The video, the rhythm, and you had I saw Jazzy Joyce in that video. Am I correct? Tell us about that,
Yeah,
man.
Jazzy Joyce used to be my DJ.
Mm.
So I'm a senior in high school when I'm doing these projects, and basically at this time in hip hop, you had every style of record. You'd have your rock record, you'd have your hip house record, you'd have your underground record, you'd have your radio record. Because this is an era where hip hop wasn't played on mainstream radio. Not without a singer on it. So there's certain sacrifices that you'd have to make in order to make sure that you can get some airplay. Even artists like LL couldn't get on daytime radio unless there was a singer on the chorus.
Right.
And that's just the way the game was at that time. And so, I had a variety of records that just explored the gamut of music. Jazzy Joyce was my DJ. That video was directed by Lionel Martin and produced by Ralph McDaniels. Shout to Classic Concepts, who was doing everybody's video back in the days. And that was what that was about, and it was fantastic. Had some really, really great dancers in there. Fendi was there from EPMD, choreographer. My good friend Benzi, my homeboy. My brother was in the video. My brother, Big French. Um, Mary Morrow, who went on to be an actress and do a ton of great movies after that. She was the leading lady. Um, Kyoko, I can't think of her last name, this Japanese lady. She's an amazing photographer. She's in, I mean, it was just like a who's who of behind the scenes people that were in the video as well. Shout out to Omar Chandler. Omar Chandler was in the video as well. Obviously, he sang the chorus. But you know, this is that era. This is that era when you were free to explore and do a lot of things, and it wasn't so many boxes where like you do this and you do that, and we can't cross promote these together. And luckily, we're back at that age now. But there was a time when you could just be free to do whatever you felt was creative.
I used to listen to you guys on Hot 97. Um, you want to tell the people about that journey at Hot 97.
97. That was Renegade Radio. And that was me, Sway, and it started with me and Sway. Really started with me and Sway. Sway was doing it by himself, and Sway was doing it, and I was A&Ring Ludacris at the time for DTP, and for the Ludacris DTP label, and I would go from the studio straight to the station. And one day I was just hanging out, not even doing radio, just hanging out. And I went one morning and Sway and I eating breakfast, and I didn't know my mic was live. And we just started going back and forth, cracking jokes with each other, about the night and the day and whatever, whatever. And Ebro came in and was like, "Yo, that was dope. Can you come back tomorrow?" I was like, "Nah, I ain't coming back tomorrow. Get out of here. It's too early. 5 a.m. I'm only here because I'm coming from the studio." And then Ebro was like, "No, man, really, I want you to come back. I mean, what I got, we'll get you a check. What's up? What we got to do?" And I was like, "Uh-oh, we talking business?" And so, we worked it out, and Renegade Radio was born. And, we did it.